There is a generational opportunity happening on LinkedIn right now, and we've never seen this before. If we could go back to 2020 when TikTok started taking over, there were literal 19-year-olds who became millionaires overnight because of attention arbitrage. They were posting all of this content on TikTok and they were getting millions of views and they were monetizing those views very efficiently. The same thing has just happened now on LinkedIn. Check this out right here. What are these? These are not TikToks. These are LinkedIn Reels, and they are taking over. Right now, the same opportunity that was available on TikTok in 2020 is now available on LinkedIn. This is your opportunity to get buyers for your business, to get not only get buyers, to build a 6 to 7 figure business for yourself just organically on LinkedIn. If you ever feel like, oh, I missed out on that TikTok trend, or oh, I missed out on this trend, there is a trend happening right now that you can take advantage of. So what I did was I hosted a live coaching call open for everyone. It was totally free. And in this coaching call, I taught the exact strategies of how to build a 6 to 7 figure coaching business just using LinkedIn Reels. So I'm going to give you this entire recording right now, totally for free. Only thing I ask of you is just hit the like button on this video and just watch it, take notes, and apply. So without any further ado, let's dive in. So let's officially get started into today. So this is one of the lessons and webinars I've actually been most excited to share with everybody here because LinkedIn Reels have become a big thing right now. For those of you who have access to them, this is the time to take advantage. For those of you who don't have access to them, you're about to get access over the next couple of weeks. And I want you to be very, very prepared coming into this because I say this, I say this very humbly in the sense that it's very rare that an opportunity this big comes to a social media platform where it's called attention arbitrage, where you have the ability to grab massive amounts of attention at virtually no cost, right? What you're about to get, and we've seen this before. If you've seen my posts, I've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. During the pandemic, right? There were literally 19-year-olds making like millions of dollars on TikTok, just dancing and twirling on camera. Now, I'm not saying you're going to need to do that here on LinkedIn. You can do, we'll keep it very professional with everything that we're doing, but the attention is unbelievable, right? That you're going to be able to have access to. And that's exactly what I'm going to go into in this webinar today. So I'll tell you right now, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for you to ask questions at the end. So if you do have questions, definitely pop them in the chat, but I will get to them at the end. I'll leave a solid like 10, 15 minutes at the end to be able to answer all your questions. And then we will be all good to go. Okay. So with that being said, let's just cover some bases here. So first things first, who am I, right? Like, who am I? I know some of you know me. Some of you are like, maybe I just attended this event to see what was up. No worries. I'll tell you a little bit who I am. So my name is Sahar Masadi. I'm actually from Toronto, Canada. I know there's a lot of Canadians in this call, so that's great. Now, I've been an entrepreneur ever since I was a little kid, right? I never took a corporate job in my entire life, none of that stuff. Now, when I graduated university, I went right into starting my first business, and I started a marketing agency, specifically a LinkedIn marketing agency. So my first business when I started on LinkedIn was I went to all these financial planners across Toronto, across Canada, and I said, let me manage your LinkedIn account for you. I will go out and get you buyers. I'll go out and get you all these people to fill your books to make more money. They were like, cool. So I was literally managing like 10, 15 accounts at once. They were all paying me like, a couple of grand a month. It was great. I was running this. Don't get me wrong. I was burnt out like heck, but it was a good business, especially when you're 23 and full of energy, right? So that was my first business. Now, it wasn't always a walk in the park. When I first started my business, first 6 months were tough. I'll be honest with you. I walked into my first business thinking I was going to be a millionaire in 90 days. That was definitely not the case. I was way in over my head. I ended up renting an office in downtown Toronto, signed a lease for $5,000 a month, thinking to myself, no, this will be a piece of cake to pay off. 6 months later, I ended up getting evicted from this office. Fully true story. I remember the landlord calling me being like, yeah, you got to get out. Like, you haven't paid your rent in 2 months. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Very shameful moment of my life. But when that day happened, I'll never forget. I was living in my brother's apartment at that time. I was just in my bedroom. I pulled out a whiteboard and just planned out a plan. I was like, look, I'm going to build this to a $40,000 a month business. And I don't care, like, one way, come hell or high water, I'm going to get this done here. So I built out a plan, got it done. I actually hired my first coach literally on a line of credit. And he showed me everything, right? He showed me how to go out, get buyers. He showed me how to go out and, service my buyers, how to make the whole systems operate, everything like that. So, that was kind of my turning point in my whole entrepreneurship career. I went from like literally, credit cards, companies calling me, paying for a course on a line of credit, people thinking I was out of my mind, parents telling me to become a real estate agent. And then, a few months later, all of a sudden, hit my first 10K month, then 20K, then 30K. And then things started to really take off for me from that point onwards. And then long story short, pandemic hits in about 2020. And I realized there's a lot more people than just financial planners who need help, right? Not just, financial planners in Toronto. Plus, I was kind of tired of working with them. They always had compliance issues like, oh, can't post this, can't do that. So I wanted to switch my niche a little bit. So I switched my whole business to a coaching business. I wanted to help solopreneurs, coaches, consultants like you learn how to use LinkedIn, because literally the opportunity here is abundant, right? It's massively abundant. So I was like, okay, instead of me just helping a handful of financial planners, let me turn this into something even bigger. Let's impact more lives here. So this is what brought me to now, right? This is why I'm running this business. Believe me when I say this is genuinely a passion of mine. I want to help as many people become 6 to 7 figure entrepreneurs as possible just using LinkedIn organically. So that's like, believe me when I say, like, I come from a genuine place when I want to help you all today. So now that you know who I am, let's dive into the actual lesson. Oh, one more thing. Sorry. Before, I always have a deal if you've ever come to my webinars. So this right here is my group coaching doc with my clients, right? So these are people who have paid like thousands of dollars to work with me, right? Now, I always have a deal. I don't know why it's kind of blurry right now, but if you stick with me to the very end of this webinar, of this training today, I will give you access to this specific lesson right here, which is, again, I don't know what's happening, but it says guaranteeing yourself buyers every month, a step-by-step game plan. So this is a full lesson that I gave to my clients. Again, people who paid me thousands of dollars. I'll give you the full recording of this call where I'm teaching them, okay, here's step 1, 2, 3, 4, how to guarantee yourself buyers every single month. So I just want you to stick with me to the end, and we'll be all good to go, right? So I'll take a screenshot of whoever's here at the end, and I will send you that lesson as promised. Sound good? All right, now that we've gotten all the, the things taken care of, let's actually dive into the lesson today. Okay, so how do you build a 6 to 7 figure business with LinkedIn Reels, right? So first thing you have to understand for anything else is that your LinkedIn profile is a character. You have to look at this entire thing like a video game, right? You're playing a video game right now, and your profile is your avatar. Now, your goal of this avatar on the platform is to win the hearts of your audience. Win the hearts. Because remember this, nobody will buy from you unless they like and trust you. But more importantly, and I say this in the most respectful way, they need to see you as a superior. Right? If somebody does not see you as a superior, they will not buy from you, because they need to fundamentally believe you are ahead of them and possess knowledge or possess skills that they do not. So therefore that they will need to invest. They know that you have something that they don't, right? So this gets people into a purchasing mode very quickly. Now, I don't know everyone's level of marketing here, but you have to understand in marketing, there's 3 levels of the funnel, right? So top of funnel is just about generating awareness, getting people aware of you, getting people to like you, right? Middle of funnel is getting people to fall in love with your method, what you teach. And then the bottom of the funnel is actually converting the audience, right? Booking calls, turning them into actual buyers. The purpose of LinkedIn Reels is solely for top of funnel activities, right? Which means your goal from your LinkedIn Reels and all the content that you're going to post, and I'm going to give you examples, formulas, I promise, I'll give you all of that stuff. But your goal from your LinkedIn Reels and everything that you're doing is simply to generate awareness, get people to like and trust you, right? This is very important. Why is this? I don't know how this got here. Okay, so sound good so far? Everything all clear? I don't know why this thing is here. Is someone drawing? Anyways, all right, there we go. It's gone. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. So now with this being said, right, your top of funnel, you have 3 goals. You have to get buyers aware of you, get buyers to like you, get buyers to trust you, right? Now, when you're getting them to like you, right? When you are getting them to like you, there's three things you must talk about, right? Now, one thing before I even go into what you should talk about, I'm going to talk about what you should not talk about. Most people, and I'm telling you, probably 50% of this room, if you don't listen to me, you're going to go out and do this. You're going to go out and educate your audience. You're going to go and post content like 5 tips to go and, heal your relationship, 5 tips to increase your productivity. Worst kind of content to publish on LinkedIn. By far the single worst piece of content to publish on LinkedIn. Why? Because they don't care. Remember this, no one's going to pay attention to you unless they like and trust you, right? Like if you saw some random stranger on the street preaching something and you have no idea who this person is, their story, their background, it's very unlikely you're actually going to pay attention to what they're saying, even if it's correct, even if it's groundbreaking information, right? I've seen, I don't know if you guys have seen those YouTube videos of, I saw this like world famous pianist, like people pay like, thousands of dollars to go see a show. He pulled up to a random street in New York City. No one knew who he was. And he started playing like one of his master classes. Nobody cared. People were just walking around him. People were literally walking around this pianist that people pay like thousands of dollars to go see in an actual stadium. Why? Because they didn't know who it was, right? You have to get people sold on who you are, right? So with that being said, 3 things you need to do with your reels. Number 1, share your story, right? Where did you grow up? What were your setbacks in life? What are your beliefs? These are very important things you need to talk about, right? Why do you think I started this webinar like this? I said, who am I? My name is Sar Masadi. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I'm sure all the Canadians all of a sudden started relating with me, right? I talk about how I never took a job in my life. Okay, probably some people started relating, right? You want to start to polarize your audience with what you post online. This is very, very important to do. Believe me when I say this, right? Now, and the thing is, you don't need to share one story once. And a lot of people will say to me like, I don't really have a rags to riches story. I'm a pretty ordinary person. You don't need to share a story about how you overcame poverty in a third world country and made it to the US and became a millionaire. Like, sure, if you have that story, go right ahead and share it, but it's not necessary, right? You can just talk about things that happened in your life. Look, I'll be honest, like, I didn't grow up particularly poor. My parents were relatively well off and it was a decent life. So I'm not going to go here and lie and say like, I was starving on the streets, like begging for money or something like that. It just wasn't true. It wasn't me. Right. But I'm very authentic with who I am throughout my story. And this is the kind of content you need to publish on LinkedIn Reels, right? I'm going to get into the technicalities and all that, but I just want you all to have the overall high idea of what you're supposed to be doing, right? Okay, so this is that. Number 2 is share your lifestyle, right? This is top of funnel content, right? Don't just share your story. That's very important. I'd say that should be the majority of it, but also talk about who you are, what you do, right? Like, what's your life like? What do you like to do in your free time? Again, it's about building that emotional connection, right? The emotional connection that you have with your audience. If you look at all of the top influencers, like people in your space, I want you to really like look at a lot of their content, the people that you follow. Think of your favorite YouTubers, influencers. They're doing a lot less teaching than they are actually just connecting, showing their lifestyle, right? Now, I'm not someone to show materialistic things. That's just not who I am personally, but I definitely share a lot. If you go look at my content on LinkedIn, even beyond the reels, right? I'm talking about, I was scuba diving in Colombia last weekend in Cartagena, I'm doing this, right? I like to show my lifestyle because people build a connection to me, right? I'll give you a perfect example here. I don't know how many of you have heard of Joe Dispenza. Right? He's like someone I really follow. I really like his teachings. He talks about, meditations, all of this stuff. Now, there's thousands of meditation teachers out there, thousands, lots of healers out there, lots of people talking about different things. Why do I pay attention to him? Right? Is it because he has a big following? Maybe, but really it's because I heard his story the first time, right? His story was the first thing that grabbed my attention, how he snapped his spinal cord and how a doctor said that he couldn't be healed and how he literally meditated himself to healing. And I was like, that's crazy. And I really connected with his story. And I was like, really, is the mind that powerful? And it really got me into him, right? Then I started paying attention to further things, right? Same thing. I follow his lifestyle. The guy's always in different places, right? Very important to share. Now, third thing is controversial opinions. Do not, you have to create controversial opinions. Look, your audience is in neutral mode, right? Your audience right now is in full neutral mode. Your job is to polarize them, separate them, right? You can't have them in the same place all the time. It's just, you will not close them, right? You will not convert them into buyers if you are not polarizing them. So for example, now, I'm not saying to go political and be like, one person says like, go vote like Trump, and the other person says, go vote Kamala. Like, no, I'm not saying any of that. Polarize them in other ways, right? I would genuinely say avoid political because that could, it messes things up from a business perspective. But you can go in and say like, let's say you're a career coach, right? Let's say you genuinely don't believe in resumes. You think resumes are done with. Your LinkedIn profile is your new resume. Talk about that, right? That is a controversial opinion. Last week I created a post talking about how the middle class won't exist in 10 years, right? I talked about this. And in that post that I created, it wasn't even a reel. I think I'll show it to you right now. I talked about how the middle class won't exist in 10 years. The amount of engagement I got on that, people agreeing with me, people disagreeing with me, it was unbelievable. It was great, right? I started to separate my audience. Sure, I turned some people from a neutral state to like saying, all right, I'll never talk to this guy again. Fine. But the people who actually started resonating with me, they're like, yeah, this guy's right. I agree. Like we're already seeing a gap, inflation's going up, things are getting more expensive. People started agreeing with me. And guess what? That just led to more book calls. It led to more sales. So do not be afraid to be polarizing in your content. I can't express this enough. If you go on LinkedIn right now and you scroll through your feed, I want you to pay attention to this and you'll see who's making money and who's not. The people who are giving advice, like 5 tips to go and do this, 5 ways to go and do that, they're not making money. The people who are being neutral, not giving their honest opinion about things, they're not making money, right? I really want you all to, like I said, be 6-figure earners. I want you to all really take advantage of LinkedIn. So this is very, 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 very important to do, right? So I really, 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 really want to emphasize this with all of you, okay? So now, like I said, what is your goal from then? If this is all true, right? If this all is making sense so far, then this should beg the question. So what is the goal of LinkedIn Reels if it's just to get attention, right? What is the goal? Like, how do I actually turn this into buyers, right? Like, what's the next logical step in this equation? Good question. Your singular goal, your binary goal from your top of funnel Reels, the content that you're publishing, is simply to move them to the middle of the funnel, right? What I mean by that is, like I said, your goal with the content that you're publishing with all the reels that you publish on LinkedIn, again, I'll get into the technicalities in a moment, is to get them to the middle. Because remember, step 1 is that you got to get them to believe in you. Get them to believe in you, right? That's the purpose of the reels. You, your lifestyle, your opinions, your story, your journey. That's the top of funnel content that gets people emotionally connected to you. Now, what's step 2? Now you start getting them attracted to your vehicle. What is your vehicle? Your vehicle, if you're a health coach, could be the keto diet, vegan diet, meditations. For me, it's LinkedIn, right? Getting buyers from LinkedIn. Whatever your vehicle is, then you get them into that, right? Once they're sold on you, okay, now it's like, okay, great. I now believe in Mark. Mark, I like the way you think. I like your leadership approach. I like it. I just like you as a human being. I like what you stand for. Great. Tell me more about now I'm interested in learning about how you help leaders. Now I'm interested in how you can actually help a business grow or what you can do, right? Because I'm sold on you first. So your goal is to move them to the middle of the funnel, middle of the funnel. Now, what does that mean then? Okay, tactically speaking, how do you move someone to the middle of the funnel? This is where you start to offer further value, right? This is why you have, for those of you this is why you have VSLs. This VSL is just like, a short video, right? Without going into too technical terms, it's just a short video educating people on your vehicle. Lead magnets. This is why I'm running this webinar. You're literally all in the middle of my funnel right now. Every single one of you are in the middle of my funnel. Right? So congratulations. I took you from the top to the middle. So the whole point here is get you to believe in the vehicle, right? Right now, I'm trying to get you all to believe in LinkedIn Reels as a serious opportunity to grow your business. So I hope I'm doing a good job for you all, right? And this is the idea, right? Get them to believe in your vehicle. Now, and one thing to remember, your middle of funnel content, and I don't want to make this so much about middle of funnel. I want to go keep it Reels, but just so you have the idea, is that it needs to be deeper content. Right? Top of funnel content should be short dopamine hits, right? Quick dopamine hits. Reels are like less than a minute long, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, right? Nothing crazy. Your middle of funnel stuff should be way longer. Hence why I have you on this webinar for an hour, right? Think about how many reels you'd have to make you got 60 reels if you were doing each reel at a minute, right? 60 reels versus one webinar, right? You want to go deeper with this stuff, right? The whole idea is to go deeper with it. So again, I'm not here to teach middle of funnel. Maybe that's for another webinar another time, but just so you get the idea. And then your goal from the middle of the funnel is to take them to the bottom, which is ultimately booking calls and then converting those calls and collecting cash, right? At the end of the day, my business is no different than yours. We look at the week, how many calls did we book? How many calls showed up? How much cash did we collect? That's all you got to look at. Right? If you're not making enough money right now in your business, fundamentally ask yourself, how many calls are you putting on the board every week?
If you're not putting any calls on the board, well, then there's something wrong with either your middle or your top of funnel. Very simple, but it's a very simple equation. Very, very, very simple, right? So again, don't want to go too deep into that, but that's the idea, right? Collect cash, right? Very, very, very binary. Don't complicate it. Don't let people complicate it. All of that. Like I said, views matter, but ultimately what matters more is that you're collecting cash, right? You're getting people on the phone. You're getting people actually purchasing from you. And that's what I want for every single person here, right? Okay, so a couple things now. Just going back to the top of funnel before, how do you create an attractive character? A couple things. You got to have a good backstory, polarity, character flaws. This is very important. Don't try and show yourself as perfect ever, because perfect is not relatable, right? So you want to show your rough edges as well. What's right with you? What's wrong with you? Again, what did I do at the start of this webinar? I told you about how I got evicted from my office when I started my business, right? I wasn't perfect when I started, how I went broke starting my business, all this stuff. It's very normal. Share this, right? Talk about your story. So anyways, now let's get into the tactical stuff. This is the stuff I'm most excited about. So first thing is first, education reels. Now, what did I say earlier? I said teaching people 5 steps to, do something is not a good idea. And I echo that statement again. But there are times when you can do educational reels, but the goal is not to just give them pinpointers or tips. No one wants tips or tricks, right? Especially if they don't know you, especially if they're at the top of the funnel. But if you can get them to think differently, that's worth posting about, right? But do you understand the difference between giving like 5 tips to go and like reduce stress versus getting them to actually think differently, right? So I'll give you an example. This is one post that I did where I get my audience to actually think differently. So let me share this for you right now. Okay. Can you all see my screen? Yes? Okay, all right, Greg, I see your thumbs up. Cool. So I want you to see this right here.
If you want to make 10 grand a month and you sell a $5,000 product, you only need to make 2 sales. That's it. But if you sold a $10 product and you wanted to make $10,000 in a month, you would need to sell it 1,000 times. 1,000 times. What do you think's easier? Making 2 $5,000 sales or making 1,000 $10 sales?
Right? Again, educational. But what am I doing in this post? I'm getting my audience to think differently. I'm getting them to start thinking like, maybe the route of me selling my coaching services at $100 an hour is not the smartest way to make 10 grand in a month. Maybe I should sell $5,000 packages. Maybe I should go and do something like that, right? So again, this is a thought-provoking kind of reel. Now, even though this works well, I'll be genuine with you. This is still one of the hardest to go viral in. It's still one of the hardest to convert buyers in because it's middle of funnel. It goes back to what I was saying earlier, is that the trust may not be established. Now, this post would do well, like for someone who's seen me maybe 10, 15 times, they trust my opinion, they trust who I am, then yeah, a post like this would do pretty well, right? They'd be like, yeah, I respect him. I understand what he's saying. I get it. But for the new audience, they'd be like, who is this bozo? Like, who is this guy? I don't know who he is. Like, well, you could just be, saying anything random here. So the pros of it is that it adds values to your audience and it's easy to move people to the middle of funnel because you're educating them and you can push them to like a lead magnet, a webinar, training, ebook, whatever you want after. But cons is that it's very low entertainment value and I'm not creating much of an emotional connection, right? Like, what do they see me? They see a guy in a leather jacket here with a microphone, cool background and lights, nice. But they don't know who I am. They don't know anything about me. It's kind of just leaving them it's leaving them more in a neutral state, right? So I don't really differentiate myself from my competitors with a reel like that. So should you do reels like this? The answer is yes, but I would keep them at the bottom of the list in comparison to the other kinds of reels that we're about to go into. Okay, good. So let's keep going. Awesome. Next one. Okay, hero story reels. This is my favorite. This is the best one. Hero story reels are the kind of reels that you create a massive amount of emotional connection. Right? A massive amount of emotional connection. This is where you can share your story, right? This is where you can actually get people to learn about you. This is where you can actually get people to connect with you emotionally, right? Now, remember, your reels need to be entertaining, right? People watch reels for entertainment. I was literally in my bed last night scrolling through like YouTube reels for like 3 hours, probably a bit too long, but I was just looking for entertainment, right? Now, you can educate, but the whole idea is the people are watching. You have to understand the mindset of people watching reels. They're watching to be more entertained than anything else. So you have to make yourself exciting, right? Talk about yourself. So I'm going to show you this and then we'll go into the example in just a second. I'll explain it. So come watch this here.
I think
Can you hear it? Yeah? Okay. Yes, okay.
I left him somewhere I know no longer go. And I watch you run away now from all the lovely things we hate now. Where did we go? Where did we go? Oh, I don't know. But I know it feels like somewhere far away from home. And it's falling into pieces. No, there's not a way that we can stop this now. 1,000 miles an hour driving off the edge. And darling, now there's nothing left. And it started out so slowly. Oh, as I lay here by myself and it's 4 a.m. I wonder, did I put you through hell? Oh no, I need to know if you're okay. I wanna know, I need to know if you're okay.
Okay. So you saw this. Think about this. Do you think I pulled emotions with that? Yes. Did I show my story? Yes. Now, this kind of reel, just specifically the format, this is good for like introverts, right? If you don't like actually talking on camera, you can easily do things like this. Like I didn't say a word, right? Just photos, things of my life, all of this kind of stuff. Very easy to create, right? You can create this in like, if you know how to use CapCut or any basic thing, you can even create them on Instagram, download them and upload them onto LinkedIn. Very easy to make, right? Very easy, but also very engaging. So if you're like thinking, oh God, I got to do reels, but I don't feel comfortable talking on video. Well, this is a perfect, easy one for you to make. Now I want you to show you like the numbers on this. Now, what I've noticed with numbers on Reels is they're a little deceptive in a good way. So you can see I only got about 37 likes on this, right? But we got almost 7,000 views on this reel. More importantly, we were able to book calls and convert cash, right? Get people to actually buy. And I'm telling you, since I started posting this reel, one of the first questions I asked my audience on sales calls, on sales calls is, what made you want to get on the call with me today? Number one answer I'm hearing, your story, right? Everyone's saying your story, right? So this is very important to remember with what you're talking about. So share your story consistently. Now, this is just one. I could come up with like 10, 20, right? This is just like the high level. I could break it down. There's so many different angles I can go with this. So don't feel like, oh, I just need to repeat that one story one time and I'm going to be good and everything's going to be taken care of and all of that, right? So the pros of a post like this, you create a massive amount of emotional connection, lots of entertainment value, easy to create. I would even add, it's easy to move them to the middle of funnel, right? What did I do at the very end of that? I said, hey, I have a free training teaching you how to get your first 5 buyers from LinkedIn, right? Comment LinkedIn below and I'll personally send it over to you. Very easy to do, right? Push them. Now I'm bringing people to the middle of the funnel. Very, very easy to do. And posts like this, if it's a really good story, has a high potential of going viral, right? Very high potential of going viral. So you can take advantage of that. And like I said, it gets the audience to know me better. Now, again, what are the cons of this? There is a little bit of a con, which is just like, yeah, if you do share the same story over and over and over again, then people are gonna be like, I've heard this, right? So, but again, I don't think that'll be an issue for anyone here. Like, just don't share the same story every week if you want to, change it up. But you can repeat this story. I'll probably repost this or create a new version of this maybe 3-4 weeks from now. That's fine. People don't mind it, but yeah, just don't do it every day is all I'm saying, right? So very, very, very important to do. Now, is this all making sense so far? Just give me a thumbs up if yes. All good? Okay, I see Mark giving me thumbs up. Okay, I see a lot of thumbs up. Okay, good. All right, next one here. Controversial opinion reel. Now, this one right here, this one went pretty viral for me. I got, if you can see here, almost 400,000 views on this one, right? Now, a couple things. I did it in a square format, but it still showed up on the reel feed. And I'll explain the technicalities of that in a second, but this one did really well. Now, this one, funny enough, this post, this is actually very ironic here. Literally the title of this post was, if you can see here, a viral post will not save your business. And then the post went viral, which is kind of funny. So anyways, going back to this, hold on, let me pull this out here. So the post, like I said, I literally said a viral post will not save your business. And then the actual post went viral, which is hilarious. And the whole point here is I wanted to bring in a controversial opinion. Now, am I offending people with this? Not really. But again, because I'm trying to break common beliefs. right? And you really want to break common beliefs in a very like in a direct way. Like, don't beat around the bush with your opinion, right? Be honest with the way you're talking. Like, if you truly believe it, if you truly stand for something or stand against something, mention that opinion, talk about it, let people know, right? So again, I'll play this video so you can see.
A viral post will not save your business. I'm telling you this from experience, right? I was talking to someone last week and they told me they had a post on LinkedIn that got 70,000 views. They got 70,000 views on a single post. And I asked them, how many buyers did you get from this post? And his response, 0. I said, did you book any calls? They said, no. Whereas that same week, I made a post and we only got 500 views on it. 500 views, which is much lower than what I typically get. Of the 500 views, I had 3 people book a call, 1 person purchased. And all of this happened because I was doing the right activities, right? This is what I'm trying to tell you, is that I focused on building an audience of buyers, right? This has been my focus on LinkedIn, which is why I don't have hundreds and hundreds of likes and comments on my posts. I don't care for that, right? Becoming an influencer and having all this kind of like LinkedIn fame, quote unquote, was never my goal. My goal was to build a healthy business where the right people looked at me every time I published content, they book calls and they purchase from me. Obviously, content's one piece of it. There's the whole back-end system and all of that. But when you have these pieces in place, the business will flourish. So I'm telling you to do the same thing. Stop looking at your views and instead start looking at the metric of how many calls are you booking and how many calls are you converting. If you can focus on those 2 metrics alone, there's no reason why you can't have a 6-figure business. So I'm telling you, go do that and thank me later.
Boom. You see, give a controversial opinion. Now, I intentionally did it. I could have either easily made this a boring educational post being like, here are 5 ways to get buyers from your content on LinkedIn. What do you think would perform better? Here are 5 ways to get, your buyers from LinkedIn. Or a viral post is not going to save your business. In fact, it's going to hurt your business. And I bring in a story, I bring in my opinion, right? So very, very, very important to make sure that it's extremely important to make sure you have your opinion. Like I said, all of this kind of stuff is to get people to connect with you emotionally. The more they connect with you emotionally, the easier it's going to be to move them through the middle of the funnel and the bottom of the funnel. Now, those are the 3, like I said. Pros: polarize your audience, gets them out of the neutral state. Also has a high potential of going viral. Point A, exhibit A right here. Easy to get buyers to move through the middle of the funnel. And the cons is you will get naysayers disagreeing with you. That's totally fine. Like, I'd say once a week now, maybe even a couple times a week, I get people just like vehemently disagreeing with me, and that's okay. I actually like it because number one, it boosts my algorithms, and it makes me, I know that I'm polarizing my audience when someone disagrees with me. So don't be afraid of that at all, right? At the end of the day, they're not the ones putting money in your pockets. You want to make sure that you're doing the right things to actually get buyers and the right people coming towards you, right? It's kind of like, just put your message out there. The right people who connect with you will come, and the ones who don't, pay no mind to them. Just be very indifferent and you'll be all good to go. Okay. So now I want to talk a little bit about the actual structure. Like, how do you create them? How do reels work? Now, LinkedIn, I'll actually discredit them on this point. They didn't do a good job of explaining to anybody how reels worked, right? So the way reels work is very simple. You create a video. Now I believe LinkedIn is only supporting the rectangle format, like this format. As soon as you publish it, it will be sent to the Reels feed, right? So you don't actually need to do anything. There's no special area to publish Reels or anything like that. You publish your content as you typically would on the feed, and it will be sent into the Reel area. Now, also remember, there is no Reel area on desktop as of right now. It's only on mobile, right? So if you go onto the app right here, where is it? You go to the app, you'll see this button right here for the videos, and these are the Reels, right? So it's all on your application, right? So very important to just remember that with the Reels. So you don't need to do much. Now, key things just in terms of technicalities here, you need to make sure that you are using subtitles for everything, right? And remember, you have to grab attention, right? If you go, like, I want you to just see this one right here. If you're scrolling through the feed here, right, and you see this, the first thing you're going to see, there will be no middle class in 5 years. It will only be rich or poor. It's called pattern interruption. Very important to include in your content, right? Very important. Otherwise, if it's just you smiling, like, hey, people are going to swipe, right? You have to really be able to stop people. It's called pattern interruption. Now, take it as far as you want. I'm not like the, the real police, but basically you can take it as, you can be as neutral as you want, or you can be as, catchy as you want. I really believe the more catchy you are, the easier it's going to be to get your buyers, to get people, because remember, people are looking for a reason to dismiss you. This is very important to remember. They're looking for a reason to dismiss you. So make sure that first frame is a very good hook. Ask yourself, if I was scrolling through the feed and saw this, would I be interested in watching further? Right? In my case, in this one, yeah. In the educational one, the one that got my least amount of views, and probably not, right? So it's just a matter of also testing it and seeing what's working. That's number one. So have a really good hook as your first frame. Then everything else, whether you're going to be talking to the camera directly, right? Then you want to have subtitles. If you're not going to be talking to the camera directly, then make sure there's some kind of explanations, right? Here's how I didn't say a word in this reel, but you can see there's captions. Here's how I got out of the rat race. I started showing my life, things I started doing, right? All of this kind of stuff. It became it was very, very easy for people to see, engage, follow along, right? So if you're going to do a storyline, make sure it's a clear storyline. Put dates with it, put labels, let people make it easy to follow. Now, one thing to remember is that you always have to go with the assumption. Walk into all of your content. This even goes beyond reels, any kind of top of funnel content that you're posting. Walk in with the assumption that people are seeing you for the first time. They don't know who you are. They don't know where you're from. They don't know anything about you, right? So walk it. And that's exactly what I did with this, right? No, I created this reel with the intention of assuming nobody knew anything about me. And believe me, the people who did know about me got to learn a little bit more. And the people who didn't know me, well, now they know me a little bit more. Right? So very important. So that's in terms of structure. Another tactical thing to remember is you want to put call to actions at the end of your reels, right? I'm not here to help you go viral. That's going to be a byproduct of it. I'm here to help you guys make money and get clients, right? I really want you all to have a very successful business, because if you're just making reels and you're following everything I'm saying, but you're not actually pushing them to the middle of the funnel, well, then you're not going to make any money. You're just going to become like another broke influencer on LinkedIn who just has, 30, 40,000 followers and has no clients. Right? Make sure you're driving people to the middle of the funnel, right? You're getting them to that next step. Otherwise, like I said, you're just building audience, right? There's a difference between having an audience and monetizing that audience, right? I would much rather you have a reel that gets 1,000 views, you book in, you bring them to the middle of the funnel, you book 3-4 calls, than a reel that gets 200,000 views and you don't book a single call, right? Remember, you are a business owner, not an influencer, not a content creator. These are the activities that you do that allow you to advance in business. Right? Do not think like a creator. Do not think like an influencer, right? Think like a business person. Understand that this is a business you are running, and content is just simply your form of advertising. LinkedIn Reels is a form of advertising. That is all that is necessary. So, all right, I really want to save time for questions here. So I'll wrap it up a little bit with what I'm saying. But look, I'm telling you right now, don't let this one slip, right? LinkedIn Reels, for at least the next 6 to 12 months is going to be something really special, right? Like you're going to have, I'm being serious, like some people in this call will end up making, $50,000, $60,000 a month. Some people in this call will literally run very, very successful businesses simply from attention arbitrage via Reels. Right? Learning how to do this, learning how to actually go out, create the right kind of content, get the right buyers looking at you and converting. I want it to be all of you, right? But it's going to take work on it, right? You're going to have to really understand this at a very, very high level. Now, like I said, in this call, I only had enough time to go through the top of the funnel with you. I didn't have enough time to go through the middle of the funnel, nor did I have time to go through even the bottom of the funnel, right? So Reels, like I said, will grab you the attention. Then once you have the attention, how do you monetize that attention, right? How do you get these people booking calls with you and converting, right? And paying you. I'm talking about paying you $5,000 for your services, $10,000, whatever the cost is of your services, right? That is equally, if not more important, right? They're all pieces of this equation. So like I said, I couldn't go through all of this today with you all simply because I only asked for your attention for 1 hour. And I appreciate you all sticking around with me. So for that reason, a couple things I'm going to do, right? Number one, before anything else, is I'm going to give you access to that lesson I promised, right? So the group coaching doc, let me pull it out. One more, give me a second here. So for those of you that remember, we can see the list. We'll take a screenshot of everyone who's stuck around up until now. So you're going to get access to this call right here, right? October 10th, not even that long ago, just 2 weeks ago, I gave this lesson to my paid clients on guaranteeing yourself buyers from LinkedIn every month, step-by-step game plan. I'm going to give you that full recording for everybody that's stuck around today. The only thing I'm going to ask is that you personally message me right now or right after this call on LinkedIn. Let me know. Say, hey, Sarm, I stayed until the end of the webinar. Can you send me that training of, guaranteeing yourself buyers, the one you did on October 10th? I will personally send it over to you right away. Trust me, very, 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 very helpful lesson. It's going to help you a ton with everything. So just send me that message. You can send it right now. You can send it after. That's fine. But if you want it, just reach out to me on LinkedIn directly. Now, on top of that, I want to actually share, this is like the first time I'm actually publicly sharing this, is I am finally sharing I'm opening up my new program. So with all of these big changes that have happened on LinkedIn, AI entering LinkedIn Reels, I have fully revamped my coaching program right now on LinkedIn. And right now, I really see the biggest opportunity for people to hit $50,000 a month, right? I've never seen a more clear pathway in my entire life, right? For any social media platform to access to any audience than right now. So for the last couple months, I pretty much laid low working on my program, updating it, all that. So now we're officially releasing this entire new program, Online Sales Mastery 2.0. And in this program, I'm going to teach you every single thing you are going to need to know to get your business to a 6 to 7 figure level, right? I'm going to work with you one-on-one, group setting, everything you can possibly, all the support you're going to need to get to where you want to go. I'm going to teach you how to create the right reels, how to convert your audience, how to book calls, how to collect them, how to collect cash on the calls, everything start to finish. So I'm opening actually only 5 spots right now for people to work with. I'll go into all the details on the call about what it's going to be like, everything like that. But if you're serious, like genuinely serious about getting your business to anywhere between a 10 to 50K per month level over the next 6 months, I really, really recommend you consider working with me on this, because I'm looking for 5 testimonials ultimately, right? I want you guys to come into this new program that I've created and be like, yep, I got my first $10,000 buyer within like 3 weeks of working with him. I want this. Like, I'm really looking to really, really get you guys to the next level with it all. So anyways, for all of you that have attended this program, this webinar today, I'm actually adding a 10% discount on the program. So it's actually like $1,000 off the actual program of what we're selling it for. So I'll give that all to you. I'll send you all the details of everything. All you need to do is just book the call with me. So Juanita is going to put my calendar link in the comments below. So all you need to do is just book that call, and we'll talk and we'll go over everything in terms of details, all of that. So I really recommend, like, if you're serious about getting to like I said, 10 to 50K per month level, this is really, really, really going to be me guiding you through the entire way. So Juanita, if you don't mind putting the link, great. Awesome. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to open it up for questions right now, go through everything, and then we will be all good to go with it all. So I got to scroll up. I see there's a lot of questions here. All right. So let's start with Caleb. We'll start with you. I'll go through the chat and then we'll go down. So what is the virality of LinkedIn Reels compared to other more social media platforms, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram? I would assume the idea of a reel is to create a dopamine. Yeah. So pretty much we covered a lot of that in terms of what we were talking about. Now, like I said, I wouldn't necessarily worry too much about like the amount. Maybe LinkedIn Reels is slightly less, like, the ability to go viral is slightly less with LinkedIn, but the ability to monetize is infinitely higher, right? So I really want you to look at it from a business perspective, right? The business perspective of, hey, look, maybe I get 20% less views than I would on TikTok, but I don't have 12-year-olds who are like, just eating cereal, watching my videos. I have actual business professionals who are looking at my content and engaging with me. So yeah, the numbers might be less, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't worry too much about that, to be honest. Like your access and your virality to your audience will be much, much higher. Okay, let's go. Will people tune into LinkedIn for entertainment? Yes. Absolutely. People do tune into LinkedIn for entertainment. So great question, Susan. People already do, right? You don't want to be a dictionary online. That's the worst thing you can be, is an actual dictionary for people, right? If I look at your content, not you specifically, just in general, and it's just like a bunch of advice, you're immediately dismissed in the mind of a viewer. They're like, I've seen this, or I don't know this person, so I'm not going to pay attention to what they say. You're calling these reels versus short form videos, same thing. Yeah, same thing. Right. So this is the idea. Jessica Bennett, cool. Do you share what tools you use? Credit. Look, I'd say just keep it simple. You don't need a lot of things, right? You don't need a lot of tools. You can create these on like Clipscribe if you want. Like, it's very easy to use. That's not really a big deal with any of that stuff. Do Reels help you build an audience if you're starting? Yeah, Reels are probably the easiest way to build an audience, the easiest way, right? But again, you have to do it right, right? Very important that you are doing it right. So, guys, as well, don't forget to book this call. Like, also, I didn't mention as well, on this call, I'll do a full evaluation of your business as well, right? This is very important. So if you guys want me to just sit down, evaluate your business, create a game plan with you on this call and be like, all right, here's your next 90-day game plan. Go execute on this. This is what you're going to need to do to get to $30,000 a month. That's what we'll do on that call. So please, please do not like hesitate to book this call. This is really, really me going to be guiding you through everything. So let's look at David's here, basically an educational, but framed in a way that separates those who care. Yes, great. Is there a good time of day? I'd say no, there's no real time. I've posted it all different times. Like don't post at like 3 a.m. But you know, any time of like office hours is fine, 9 to 5. You're pretty much fine to post that. Like I wouldn't worry about it too much. How often do you create content and schedule in advance? I am a content creating machine, so I wouldn't don't compare yourself to me. I create a lot of content. I create, 10 posts on LinkedIn. I create 5 written posts, 5 video posts. We created like 4 other reels on top of that. I film 2 YouTube videos a week. So I do that all in one day. I just block off my calendars. Mondays, I don't take calls. I'm pretty much inaccessible to the world on Mondays. I just create all my content, and then Tuesday to Friday, we're in client fulfillment mode and sales acquisition mode. That's all I'm in, right? Tuesday to Friday. Monday, content day. And again, if you want to get serious with this, I highly, highly recommend you go forward with it. Okay. You follow my routine. Okay. Can you show me where to find reel button again? Yeah, exactly. Is it videos? Exactly. It is videos to your question, right? At the bottom of the app right here, you'll see videos. That's it right here, right? So you'll have that. Okay, awesome. Great. Seniors grief. Yes, where's the Reels function? Okay, same question. Can use IG Reels. Yeah, you can use IG Reels. The same thing. A reel is a reel. Doesn't matter. I see a lot of people repost them. That's not an issue. Part of what I like about LinkedIn. Okay, that's not a question. Okay, so I get a lot of views on YouTube and TikTok and very few on LinkedIn. I do controversial opinion stories, but very few personal reels. Are hero stories the main thing that I was missing? It's possible. I'd have to check out, book a call with me. I'll check out your reels and see what you're doing. I've been confused why views are so low on LinkedIn and assumed it was because LinkedIn doesn't push video. No, LinkedIn pushes video more than anything else right now. If there's one kind of content they're pushing, it's video, right? So if you want, like I said, we can I'll take a call and I'll look at what you're doing here. How many reels should we use a week? Or reels? I don't want to limit you, right? Like go and create as many as you can, right? Like don't hesitate. Don't hesitate at all with all of this. Like this is very important. Like I would say, more the merrier in terms of your actual content, reels, everything like that. Okay, let's keep going. Question, same formula for agency. Yeah. Doesn't matter. If you sell a high ticket service, doesn't matter if you're in coaching, consulting, whatever it might be, don't worry. Yes, it's very easy. You'll be fine. You'll be fine in that sense. All good to go. Do people with Sales Mastery 1.0 get? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So if you're already I know some of my clients are in this program. Yes, anybody who's already in the program right now, yeah, you're going to get access to all the updates. Right, all the updates. There's going to be an entire new LinkedIn Reels module where I'm actually giving the formula step by step. We're going to be doing review sessions where I'm actually going to be reviewing your Reels, telling you what to put, giving you advice, structure, all of that. So for everyone who is in the program already, that's in this call, yeah, every single update to this new program, you're going to get full access to it. Awesome. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention about this new program is, yeah, we do include an ROI guarantee in it. So when you come into this program, we guarantee you're going to make your return on investment working with us. I'll tell you about all those details when you book. So again, Juanita, if you don't mind putting the link, I know it might have gotten lost in the feed, just pop that in there. And I really recommend you guys book this call because not only will it be talking about the program, but more importantly, I'll just be evaluating your business, right? It'll be like 30 minutes of me literally understanding your business, telling you what you need to do. And you could just take the strategy I give you and just run with it, right? Run with it if that's what you want to do. We're meeting tomorrow. Is that a separate convo or can we discuss the program as well? Yeah, we'll talk about this on your call tomorrow, Rafiq. Hopefully I'm saying your name right, Rafiq. We'll be all good to go. Okay. Is Reels an option I can use in Pakistan? Eventually it will be. I'm not sure if it is right now. They've only rolled it out to certain people in certain areas. So if you don't have it now, you will have it soon. So don't worry about it. It's coming. It's coming. What is your perspective on doing things like video and then getting shorts from there? It's not bad, but again, like I've done it, like it's not a bad call at all, but it's you just got to make sure you're following what we're teaching here, right? Like don't just take a long form video, chop it up into reels and expect it to work. You have to follow the formulas that I've been teaching in this video, right? Everything I've gone through. It's very, very important that you actually apply this stuff. Don't make reels. Basically what I'm saying is don't make reels for the sake of making reels, right? It's not going to benefit you in that sense at all. We're meeting on the 29th. I'm guessing we'll have, yeah. So anybody who's already booked a call with me, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the program. We'll talk about getting you set up. I'll talk about, the discount because you guys did show up to the webinar here. So I'll give you all those details, everything like that for every single person that has showed up today. So do not worry. All of that will be taken care of. Every time I try to call someone, it's like, okay. Maybe stupid question, but what's the difference between a video post and a reel? No, it's not a stupid question. They'll eventually be the same thing, but if your video is not rectangle format, it's another format and it's longer than a minute, then it goes into the video pile. If it's less than a minute and it's rectangle, it'll go into the reel pile. Ideal length of a reel, 60 seconds or under. Doesn't really matter. As long as you get your point across. That's the most important thing. Get your point across with everything. If you post too frequently, did your posts cannibalize each other? Okay, this is a very important question. The answer is yes, and it doesn't matter, right? If you post too often, remember this, I don't want you to think like a content creator of maximizing views. I would rather you have, let's say you posted 2 posts and you posted them very far distance apart. And let's say you were able to maximize the views on both of them and you got 5,000 views on each reel, hypothetically, right? Now you got 10,000 views. But the problem is the distance in which you separated it stopped you from actually generating more business for yourself, right? So this is actually going to hurt you in the long run, right? So you definitely don't look at this like, how can I maximize views? Look at this as how can I maximize buyers? And if you have to sacrifice a little bit of views, that's fine, right? Doesn't matter, right? I post sometimes 3-4 times a day on LinkedIn. Do some of the posts cannibalize the other a little bit? Yeah, but I don't care. The metric I'm paying attention more to anything else is how many calls am I booking and how many calls am I converting, right? That's the only metric I'm looking at. Like, do not think like an influencer. Think like a business owner, right? Get people on the call, collect cash, you know what I mean? Run the business. And just one thing, this is something we can go through on our call together for any of you who book. You should all be selling high ticket. Like if any of you are selling like $200 an hour, $300 an hour, you're never going to make 10K a month. I just want to be honest with you here, right? Like it'll be impossible to make 20, 30 grand a month. Like maybe if you work yourself to the bone, you might hit 10K, but like why put yourself in that position, right? Why put yourself in that position when someone can just come in and be like, yeah, I'll buy your $10,000 program. Yeah, I'll buy your $5,000 program, right? There's a lot of benefit for you in this, right? So again, just word of advice to everyone. What's the max time? 60 seconds. Yep, got it. Are you sharing your notes? No, I will not be sharing the notes and outline for this. This is why I was like, make sure to attend or book the call with me if you want. Thanks, looking forward. Love the positioning. You're a business owner, not an influencer. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Cool. Awesome. How can I start a business on LinkedIn if I still have a job? It's a good question. I hear that a lot. I mean, I talk to your employer about this a little bit, I would say. See if they're okay with you posting content. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't see why it should be an issue more than anything else. This is kind of the reason I stopped working with financial planners originally when I started my first business, is simply because there was just too much compliance issues, right? Honestly, like, look, you got to take control of your life here more than anything else, right? Like your employer, like, sure, if they don't let you post content on LinkedIn, I think that's a conversation you got to have with them, right? You got to really go in and be like, look, I want to post content on LinkedIn and it's fine. Like, I don't think it should hurt you in any way or not. But, I really want to emphasize the point now that, there has never been a better time in history to make like a 6 to 7 figure business on LinkedIn than right now, right? Like, don't be afraid to go all in with this. Like, genuinely do not be afraid to go all in. Even if you make mistakes with your reels, doesn't matter, right? Like I always say, like, you blow 3 reels and you get 1 right. Well, that 1 right that you got just landed you a 5K client, landed you a 10K client, right? Very, 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 very easy to start converting, getting your audience from there and then going from there. So you'll be all good to go on that side. Okay. I see Rodolfo, you booked a call. Looking forward to speaking with you. I see a bunch of you guys are booking calls right now. Hold on. Good. Guys, take advantage of this call. Like, I'm literally giving you a free one-on-one session with me where I'm going to analyze your entire business. So take advantage of this. Aladdin, any thoughts on the ideal ratio of texting? Honestly, no. Doesn't matter. Create whatever content you feel most comfortable creating. If you're more of an introvert, you don't feel comfortable on camera, then like it's okay. Just create more with like the text and the music and all that. That's fine. Whatever's easiest for you, as long as you can get the message across, right? And it'll be good. The real deal. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, cool. I see some more calls coming in. Great. Great. Looking forward to speaking with all of you. Any other questions? Still got a couple of minutes here. All clear? Awesome. Okay. Thoughts on Submagic? Is that like a editor? Is that like a kind of I don't know it. I don't know it. But I mean, I'm sure they're all pretty good. They're all pretty much the same. Like, and they're very cheap. They're like $10 a month. A lot of these services, right? Like, like AI has really like reduced the price of things here. So yeah. Anyways, you should be fine with all that. And you'll be good to go. What do I use? To be honest, I hired a full-time editor. I just don't have time to be like editing reels and all of this stuff. I just, it's I don't know. I think he uses like some like Adobe software like Premiere Pro or something like that. I can edit videos, but I'm busy doing webinars with you guys. I'm busy here. You know what I mean? Like I gotta take care of the business and stuff like that. But if I were to use one, I would probably just use like ClipScribe or not ClipScribe. What is the one? CapCut. I'd probably use CapCut or something like that. Something easy with it all. So that's the idea behind it. Yeah, delegate hard. Once you start getting some traction, delegate, right? Like I think who was I talking to? I think it was Ellie. I was talking to you yesterday. I was saying like, yeah, get to the point where you're just creating content and taking sales calls. That should be the thing. That you should have a business where you're just creating content, taking sales calls, and then it should just be a number. It should just be a numbers game, right? I booked 4 calls this week. I closed 1. Great. I made 8K this week. Great. Okay, let's repeat it next week. Go from there. And then just continue to build the business like that, right?
So ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. The entire game plan to building a 6 to 7 figure business just using LinkedIn Reels. Like I said, this is a generational opportunity that you need to take advantage of, right? Do not let this one slip. You can get your buyers. LinkedIn is the place. LinkedIn has the highest concentration of high income professionals all on this platform. You can go out there, you can make them your buyers. You can sell them $5,000, $10,000 packages. This can be a consistent thing for you if you do it right. Now, if you want me to coach you one-on-one, to be your mentor, showing you how to do all of this, just book a call with me. I've put my calendar link in the description below. Click on that link, book a one-on-one call. I'll learn about your situation, figure out where you are, whether you want to get to 20K per month, 30K per month, whatever that number is, and I'll help you get there. We'll figure it all out together on the call. So book that one-on-one call if you want me to be your coach. So with that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.